News flash. This is a video about Overwatch, but enjoy the Battlefield gameplay instead. Cheers.
Hey guys, welcome to my rant today. We've got another one for you. So I believe about 2 weeks ago, I made a video stating that Ana is completely fucking broken. But someone made a very good point and said supports in general are pretty broken, in summary, right? And yeah, I completely agree. I think supports are completely fucking up the game. But obviously the main focus on that video was about Ana. After playing the game again for a little bit, it's now emphasized how much bullshit and how focused the game is on supports. And it's actually crazy. Speaking of the abilities that all the supports actually have, the game is literally a cooldown simulator. You can't make a play unless you actually wait for cooldowns to be used. Now that might be a dumb statement to hear, but for example, if you go to make a play and you make one mistake on your behalf, Lucio beating a Genji Blade is completely fair because that is a one-on-one trade, right? You're using an ultimate to counter another ultimate, which is completely fine. I agree with that. What I don't agree with is a support to be able to deny your play with something that is a 10 or 12 second cooldown, like Suzu, and I have no idea what a Life Weaver pull cooldown is, but you get the point. And a sleep is hard to hit. That is fine. If you sleep a Genji mid-air, that's fine. That's a sick play. Congratulations. In that case, the play should be denied. With something with such a low skill ceiling, to have that much deniability on such a short cooldown is something I don't particularly agree with, and I think it should be tweaked slightly. I understand Suzu and TP are part of Kiri's design, and there's not really a lot you can do with it now, but the lack of skill Suzu takes and the lack of skill Paul takes, I don't see how, in a way that is completely fair, to completely deny a play, especially with something like an ultimate which isn't a fair trade. When it comes to Lucio with speed boost or healing, you have to make a choice in that split second decision. Do you speed your teammate out, or is it safe enough for you to amp the heal up? Now in that sense, it's not really a case of it being broken, it's more of down to the individual and what they think is best in that situation. With an Ana nade, do you save yourself, or do you throw a nade in the middle of a fight to anti someone in order to win the fight? With BAP, your IMO is on such a fat cooldown, but it is so impactful because you can save so many teammates. I would say it's probably comparable to Suzu. Again, Suzu is half the cooldown, which baffles me. And if anything, Suzu is slightly stronger because of the cleanse. I guess the point I'm making here is, do you either save yourself at the compromise or not being able to save someone else and risk the fat cooldown, or do you save your teammates and hope for the best? With Suzu, you can do both because the cooldown is so short. Even if you fluff the Suzu, you just TP away and save yourself anyway, which again, what the fuck were they thinking? Anyway, the point I'm making is the support abilities are far too strong and too short of a cooldown most of the time, apart from select few obviously, and they have too much impact for the little skill that they take to use. And I think a lot of people can agree with me on that. Do I think that the cooldowns should be increased? Not necessarily, because of course support role is to support the team, and you need something to be on a reasonable cooldown for it to actually be effective. But should I be that affected to the point where it causes that much denial? No, I don't really think so. So what the fuck is the solution? Well, I don't really have one, to be honest. I'm just stating what pisses me off. All the new supports that have been added to the game have just got aids, straight aids. Ilari, you try and dive her? No, get the fuck away from me every 2 seconds. Kiri, you try and dive her? Nah, she got a TP, mate. Sorry. Juno, you try and smoke her? No, I'm just going to put a ring and wiggle on your screen so you can't hit her. And look, the support needs to stay alive. They need some sort of survivability niches, okay? Or gimmicks. I get it. I really do. My only complaint, I guess, is that because they have all these annoying ass cooldowns, it really frustrates the player and it disrupts the flow of the game. Whereas before, when this didn't exist, whoever made the first major mistake generally lost the game. If you get picked, you will most likely lose the fight. But there is enough annoying shit in the game now where you can delay it enough and turn the tide with either an E or a shift. And I don't really think that's a good direction for the game to go in. It really limits the solo play for some players. A really good player can make a really good play and then it just gets denied by a simple ability, which I don't really think is a fair trade-off. The only thing I guess I wouldn't actually complain about is Mercy Res, because again, she only gets it every 30 seconds. And in order to pull the res off, you have to be in a vulnerable position to pull it off anyway. Unless obviously you're behind cover, then of course, you know, it doesn't really matter. But in the actual midst of the fight, you can't really just press a fucking button and then win. With the other ones, you can. So, hope all of that makes sense. Moving on to the next point, which is every other role in comparison to support is fucking useless. Let me explain. Let me ask you this question. If you had a choice between a shit DPS and a shit support, who are you picking? I'm going with the shit DPS every time. Simply because I am playing Ana or Zen or anyone with a high impact. I can offset the DPS's slack just by playing a very good support. With the DPS, unless you're getting some sort of sustain from your team, you can't really do much. If you're not getting sustain as a tank from your supports, you can't do Now, of course, this goes hand in hand with the tank and the DPS as well. If they're not peeling for the supports, then no one's doing anything, to be honest with you. All I'm saying is it's easier to have more impact on support because it takes less effort. For you to have the same amount of impact as a DPS or a tank player, you need the support to help you, whereas support can kind of do it on its own. Do you guys think it's fair for a role to take minimal effort to have the most impact in the game? Because I don't think it should be like that. I think it should be tank, DPS and support should match each other. Some may argue that it's probably like that right now. I find more support gaps in my game than I do with tank gaps. It's not even the tank player's fault. It's just that it's so easy for a support player to climb higher than a tank player in comparison, even if they're the same rank, because the support player has to do so much less. What do I mean has to do? They can do so much less. In order for a DPS player to carry as well, they have to be so much better than the other team in order to have the same impact as a support. The only time I see a crazy massive gap is if the Freya's really good, Sojourn's really good, Tracer's really good, or the Widow's really good. Most of the time, I don't really see that. In all other roles, it's usually fairly even, and it's mainly the support gap that is the issue. I can ask you guys now, how many times have you lost a game because you ended up having a Moira and a Lucio in comparison to an Ana and a Kiri? You don't even need to comment because I already know the answer. That brings me to my next point. Most of the time when the composition changes, the support line can be unchanged and still have the same amount of influence on the game, which again doesn't make any fucking sense. If your team has Genji Tracer and the other team has Torb and Kree, you have to swap the Genji fucking Tracer. Yeah? Support doesn't matter. Play what you want, you still win anyway. Unless obviously the team gap is that fat and they're diving your ass. But let's be honest, out of 20 games, how many of the games are going to be like that anyway? Maybe 3. Maybe 3. Now, given the fact that Overwatch is now 5v5, of course, they need to have a bit more sustain than before. But this level of sustain, I don't think it was planned by anybody. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments about how to solve this problem. Apart from maybe reducing the health pool, increasing the cooldowns on a few life-saving abilities, I can't really think of much else. But then again, if you do that, how's the game going to feel after that? It's a bit of a strange predicament to be in. In the Ana video, I mentioned that there's a lack of metas that you can run, or a lack of viable comps that are actually useful. Because obviously now in comp, especially sort of diamond and above, it's kind of rare to see anything sort of remotely interesting. It's usually the same thing, game again. And of course, the fact that you play the same people within fucking 10 games anyway. Probably a roster of about 200 people that actually still play this game above diamond, which is bizarre to me. My genuine take is if they make another maybe 2, 3 support characters that offset each other entirely, especially since we're in a poke meta right now, we need something that's very drastic to shake it up and then make games a bit more versatile. Because at the moment, I'm kind of getting bored just seeing Ana all the time, Kiri all the time, Bap all the time, Brig all the time, Juno all the time. I don't really see Zen that much, even though he's quite a pain to play against. Playing Zen myself, even though I don't really touch him that much, actually really fun, especially because when you play 6v6, you need a Zen orb and you need an anti-nade just to actually get things moving. 5v5 is obviously a bit different, but with 6v6, if there was another 2 supports at least that could spice it up, I think the game would be so much better. Sometimes I do wish that 5v5 never happened, because 6v6 before in the original game, you could have so much synergy with your team, and it was genuinely whoever was better would win. Now it's just a 50-50 dice roll, and whoever's got the more broken, jarring POS comp will win, with a bit of luck and just ability spam. Bearing in mind that you also don't have a thrower or a child on your team that's going to spoil it for everyone. And that is a lot more common than I realised. And it is a shame to see, but that's currently what the game is. Hopefully it changes at some point in the future, but with the current format, I don't think that's possible. This is completely separate to the whole support thing that I've been ranting about the whole video. If you made it this far, I really want your take on this. We currently have avoid a teammate, but I really wish that Blizzard put in a function where you can ask for that teammate to be on your team again in future matches. I'm always playing with the same people, so especially for the people that are sort of above diamond and masters, GM, whatever, this would be a nice touch. You know, I can't say how many times I've gotten in a game and a person I've already played with before and we've won loads of times, they're happy to see me again, or vice versa. I think it'll be definitely a good addition to the game, especially considering how many annoying people are playing this right now. That concludes today's rant. Hopefully I have made sense, because as you guys know, I just get behind the mic and I do this in one take and then chop it up. Join the Discord, bruv. Link is below. Thanks for watching, especially if you made it this far. Peace and love. Remember to leave a comment. I read every single comment. I want to hear your takes. I want to hear what I missed, as I always miss something. Love you all. Ciao, ciao.